Hello and welcome to Senior Moments. This is our first show in a series that we'll be doing for seniors. We'll be offering ways for them to be both mentally and physically healthy. So our goal is to find a way to interest people in optimum health. And so for the very premier show, we have some very well-known guests from Haverhill. We're going to have George Medelinskas. Now, George, you got to say that for me.
Medelinskas.
And it's easy, isn't it?
It's just the way it's spelled, yes.
Right.
Medelinskas.
And so anyhow, that's George Medelinskas and Nancy Clark. And they're from C.O.O.L. And if you haven't heard of C.O.O.L, you're going to find out about it now. It's a program that's over in NECC, Northern Essex Community College, right here in Haverhill. And I do have a disclosure to make that last year I did facilitate a program there was called Senior Thespians. And we're going to be doing it again in spring. And they'll tell you more about that. Well, George, Nancy, welcome.
Thank you.
What's cool?
Everything at the college. We're very happy to be here today to talk about the College of Older Learners. And George is actually the founder of the College of Older Learners, so maybe he can tell us how it got started.
I was a teacher at Northern Essex Community College. I've retired since then. And a few years ago, I was looking for a sabbatical to do, and it was suggested by the administration that we do something with older people. So I researched with a friend of mine, Peter Spellman, who is a part of the Harvard Institute of Learning and Retirement, which direction we were going to go with this with C.O.O.L. So we came up with this. We visited different programs and so forth. And C.O.O.L is basically self-sustaining, and it's meant for people to step out of their natural boundaries and do something different. So, for example, I'm a computer science teacher, but I've taught courses in personal essay writing and brain fitness. So we step out of that and encourage people who have really interesting hobbies to present them as courses and simply for the joy of learning. So the key to us is learning for the joy of learning. There's no test, there's nothing like that. There's 6-week seminars, 2 hours each. That's how we started.
Well, so 6 weeks, 2 hours. And I guess while we're at that point, I think the thing that I'm amazed at, and I think we have to say it all the time, how much does that cost to be part of this program?
$30 for a seminar. And the wonderful thing about C.O.O.L is that many of the lifelong learning programs at some of the colleges have a fee, an initiation fee and an annual fee. There is no other fee with this. So where can you go for $5 a week? You can't even go to the movies. So it's really very cost effective.
And so to get hooked up, like to register and everything, is that a simple process? I mean, that's usually the biggest thing is getting through the computer process. Is it easy to register?
Oh yeah, there are many ways you can register online. And that is actually, that's new since last fall, that we had online registration that's handled by the college. You can go to the one-stop, do you say that, Baracus One-Stop Center, where they take reservations, and you can also do it by phone with Christine DeRosa, and I believe
Okay, so right at everything goes right through the regular, if you were signing up for a course,
right.
It goes through there now, so you don't have to worry about chasing Georgetown to see if you can sign up.
No,
Okay.
it's through the college.
So now tell me something. When you started out, you only had a few courses. And the one thing I noticed is you don't have a teacher in your course, and I think that's important to stand out. I mean, and that makes it easy for what we call the facilitator, right? That was a good idea. I mean, where did that come from, and how's that been working out?
Well, we didn't want it to be sort of the sage on the stage type of thing. We wanted our own members to do this, so we don't really seek out experts in the field to come and present stuff. We basically want our people to present things that they're interested in or even want to learn about. We had one very successful course about mushrooms, and the person, Liz, let me get her last name. Anderson, who just had an interest in mushrooms, decided, let's do a mushroom course. And then that expanded, and I think she's done it 3 times now, and each time she's done it, it's gotten a little bit more involved. So that's the type of thing, to pursue your own interest with other people.
So like an example of well, I know the one thing that really interested me was the course that I facilitated last year. And what other courses do you have in there? What types of things are going on at this school? Let's say this coming semester.
Oh, this coming semester. Well,
Sure.
we have personal essay writing. George is going to do a class in that. And can you explain that just a little?
Well, it's just we're going to write. We're going to write
And
personal
what
essays.
are you writing about?
Well, let's see. Being a German Catholic, I'm going to write about guilt, and remembrances of my parents, and going to, just personal essays, memoirs, whatever.
And it could be anything.
It could be anything. Yeah, it could be anything.
We're also doing one on America's Fabulous First Ladies. And this was an idea that we had that sometimes people are a little put off by, I have to do lead a 6-week seminar. So the idea was to get other people involved. So this seminar is broken down into, there are 5 women that are handling 1 week each, and then 1 week will be kind of a pulling it all together. And it gives people an opportunity to get their feet wet leading a class. And I think that's been a unique thing, and I'm really, I want to see how that goes. I think it's going to be great. We're doing Art and Architecture of the Vatican, and that's a repeat from last year because it was very popular. And it's amazing, the DVDs that Ben had and the information that he gathered to be able to tell us about that. And then people brought in things. They might have visited the Vatican or done some research on their own. So that was another thing. Dig It, that's going to be my class for this semester. Dig It, architectural wonder, archaeological wonders.
Yeah.
And absolutely fascinating. And this is, I have to stop there to just say, the interesting part about this is that when you lead a seminar, you might not know anything about the material, but boy, do you get an education. I went to a seminar one time and the leader said, there's what we know, there's what we don't know, and there's what we don't know we don't know. And you find out a lot about what you don't know. But it becomes a fascinating journey. And of course the internet helps you to expand your horizons more than the Encyclopedia Britannica ever did. We're also doing a history of film. And there are already a lot of people signed up for that. So that should be a really good seminar. George's wife, Ginger, is doing Picture This, and it's a photography workshop. And there have been a lot of people that have expressed an interest in that because there are some of the photographers' meetings apparently in some of the around the city, they've had a really good response. We're doing gardening with perennials. And senior theater, which is Richard's.
I hear that's a great program.
Actually, it's funny because some of the people that took that seminar last time were people that said that they took it because they were in one of George's classes, and he challenged them to do something that they thought that they wouldn't do, to challenge their brains. And these people, some of them would never have gotten up in front of people.
And you know what was interesting about that? As we went in, there were a lot of people where you could see they're very anxious. But by the 3rd or 4th week, and it happens to everybody anyhow, I think, in this, doing improv, is they're waiting to get up. And if you don't give them their turn, they're mad at you.
Right. It brings out the inner ham.
Right, no, and it kind of lights something up. And and I mean, I learned a lot from that. Just from that experience, I learned from them. So that was the real interesting part of it. I kept learning things, just to my limits, what my limits were and what I could do and what I couldn't do. And just watching people like go from, probably I don't know anything to I want to do everything. So that was, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I guess that's the whole idea, as we say, it's cool.
Exactly.
And you had never led a class like that?
No, in fact, I'm going to at one point do a class. My past history, I was afraid to get up in front of people. Way back, I diagnosed myself with social anxiety disorder when you put it all together, and I never knew why I couldn't do it. So when I do my programs, I'm really sensitive. I can tell somebody when they're really uncomfortable, and my goal is to take that person and make sure they're up on stage and they're comfortable and they have fun, but they're never forced. And so it's like a really kind of gentle way of getting past that phobia of being in front of the people and just being able to talk. And so that's pretty cool. Now, this time, when does the program start? It starts when?
I believe it's March 26th is the first one.
A Monday.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, it's that earlier than that. March 23rd actually is the first Monday classes start.
Okay, and then you have kind of an introduction to this
Oh,
program?
yes. What we call the showcase.
And can anybody come to this, or is this just for, is
It's
this
open to
potential?
anybody over the age of 50, and
Yeah.
really, if somebody wasn't 50, we'd love
You're not
them
going to get mad
come.
at them, right?
We're not going to get mad. They're lucky.
Because I think we had some people who might have been under 50. But, I mean, that's the goal. The target audience is 50, but if someone comes in, you're going to let them come in,
Right,
unless they're 12.
right.
Well, maybe you would, who knows?
And most of our people are really over 65, I would say, the majority.
The majority of them, except that I think that what's happening now is and really you want to draw in people as young as they can be, but a lot of people are either retiring early or getting displaced from their jobs. So now they weren't planning on an early retirement, but it's here I am now. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know. So and it's great to have that mix. We have people in our 80s that attend these classes.
Yeah. No,
And they love it, and they're vibrant and young.
Late 80s, yeah.
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 And the college now allows us to, if you're a cool member, you can actually take a full credit course.
Oh, yeah, that's
At
right.
the
Talk
college.
about that. That's really cool.
The college allows us to take full credit courses for the 15 weeks each semester, as long as you are a member of the C.O.O.L, which means you've taken a course, and the class is not filled, and the teacher is willing to do that. So, and all the teachers that we've had who people have expressed an interest in doing have all accepted. So it's like they like the idea of having that diversity within the classroom of older people with the younger people. So, and it's been a fairly successful program so far.
Right.
Not a lot of people have done it because the 15-week commitment
That is
is
a
a
big
pretty big commitment. I'm taking a course this semester in digital photography, and it's a lot of commitment, but it's worth it, you know.
Yeah.
But you could do it for free.
And you know what I've noticed, and I know you've seen a lot more than I did, but during the program that I was doing, that I was involved in last semester, I saw a whole bunch of relationships coming together, like people
Absolutely.
who didn't know each other, and they'd be sitting and planning, well, let's get together for coffee, which I thought was really the whole integral part of that relationship.
That was when I knew C.O.O.L was going to work, because nobody knew whether this would work in the Merrimack Valley and so forth. And I remember being in the class that you were in, I think, too, called Aging Gracefully with
Yes,
Emily.
yes.
And I remember after the third or fourth week, I was walking out of class, and I had seen about 5 or 6 members that were just sort of in different groups talking to each other in a way that they were friends. And that social aspect of it is really important to us as C.O.O.L because people come out, and a lot of times, your children have moved away, and you don't have that interaction with people. So there's a very social aspect to it, yes.
And
When
I
I
thought
go-
it was great when people were saying things like, from the acting part of it, they'd say, well, let's get together during the week, and we'll meet for
Great.
coffee and go over our lines.
Oh,
And
isn't that good?
And I
Yep.
said, now that's really, that's just a whole other advantage to the system. I mean, here you are, you're not only learning something, but you're also learning new people. I think that was cool.
Right.
What were you going to say?
That
I'm
has been
sorry.
big. Well, when I certainly first started with C.O.O.L, I wasn't even thinking of the social aspect of it. And I have met people that have become new friends. We go to museums, we go to the ballet, we go out to lunch, and that has been so much fun because you expand your horizons, and that's really what this is all about. And we're looking for ways to increase that social network. George is always sending things that are going on at the college.
Yeah, I get them for all the time.
Yes, and they go onto the C.O.O.L website, and it's like, hey, there's a group going to the Blue Man group. Do you think you want to go? And I think even there was, who is the person that does the travel? And they're having
Oh,
two.
Marcy
Yeager?
Marcy Yeager, yes.
Yes, and there are 2 trips going out in May and June, I believe.
Ecuador and
Ecuador
Italy?
and
England.
London.
London.
And they invited, cool people that were interested because there was also, before these trips occurred, there was going to be a credit class so that they weren't just, going in raw. And then, they were able to take advantage of the group rates, et cetera. So it's that expansion of that, and we're looking for new things to do all the time.
Right, and-
We're even investigating a wine tasting right now, so that should be fun.
I got an email this morning from the philosophy teacher who, one of her students is doing a presentation on what is consciousness. I think it's...
Oh, yeah, I wanted to find out about that.
Yeah,
Tell me about
and
that.
I don't know. Well, she has I think it's a student who has who do this as special projects, and they have like lunchtime presentations of it. And before I used to have to ask her if we could come, and today she sent me an email and said, please invite your COOL members, because when we go to these things, we're not quiet, and they like
Right.
people to be able to talk. So
Sure.
my goal has always been to be part of the fabric of the college, that we're going to be in all aspects of it. And that has been working out pretty well.
Well, I think, and I know that a couple of times, I think, with the COOL group, we've gone to the theater when they do the, what was it?
Yes,
before
Jim
opening night?
Murphy's program at the
Yeah.
college.
We're the audience. Basically,
Right.
COOL is the audience for the dress rehearsals for the
And
plays.
I was amazed how much the kids
Yeah.
really look forward to the,
Oh, they love
to
it,
the
because
critiques
we
and
do a
to
critique.
the evaluations, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were good. They were,
Yeah.
it wasn't just junk evaluations. It was
Right.
really some good questions and some good concepts and things that
Right.
people saw. So actually, it's working out pretty good for COOL, and I get a sense that it's going to grow bigger, though.
We
Are you
certainly
prepared for
hope
that?
so. We can take on whoever comes.
Nancy is more energetic about growing than I am. I'm happy where we
Uh-huh.
are, but, I'm happy to grow too.
Well, it's always nice because I think when you introduce new people, you introduce new ideas. And that is the fun thing about this, is that when you're in a class, all of us have this experience, this knowledge from where did we come from and all of our interests, and we bring that to the class. It's something that's interesting is you can be walking down the corridor, and if there's a COOL class going on, there's a lot of laughter coming from that room. This is not stodgy college at all, and it's because someone's sharing a story or relating to, what their life was like or what they learned, and it's a wonderful experience. You want to expand your horizons.
Yeah, no, it sounds really good. I mean, I can almost think that if somebody was listening and they had an idea, I mean, it's just too easy. I think we're going to get an email for you folks at the end of the show, and it'll show. I mean, someone can just email you and throw the idea out, right?
Right. We're always hoping that somebody would like to take that idea and then maybe lead the class.
And be a
That's the
facilitator,
good
yeah.
thing, and be a facilitator,
Right.
because, and that is fun, and it sounds scary, but it's not. Once you do it, there is such a feeling of empowerment. Wow, I actually was able to do that. I was able to bring this group of people together, because some of our classes, they can have anywhere from 6 to 16 people in them. And we're not a scary lot. No, we're really not.
But the key is if the leader has passion for the subject that
Yes.
they want to explore,
Right.
that's a key to us. I keep trying to get Nancy to be convinced that I can do a 6-week class on moss, but she says, no.
I told you could try it.
She says it's too small of a subject, but
On moths?
moss,
George
MOSS,
grows moss in
Oh,
his
moss.
backyard.
propagate moss.
How many types of moss are there?
There's 1,200 different mosses.
See, so it's not just the moss you see.
No, see, that's interesting. That's almost like a thing that it's hard to fail at, right? Growing moss?
No, you can fail at growing moss.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, well, you have to have the right
You
conditions.
have to have a shady place that's
Well,
damp.
one of the things that amazed me about moss was I first found out about it was that the recommendation was clear a patch of land and wait.
Oh, then it'll come.
It would come. Which I thought the guy was kidding, but no, that was really one way to do it.
It's this lazy man gardening.
Yes,
Yeah, moss.
yes. But there's active gardening. My neighbor next door hates the moss in his yard, and he has me transfer the moss from his yard to my yard. So,
Okay.
and he doesn't know, well, he does know this because I told him, but the moss is just going to keep coming back in his yard because the conditions are correct. And I think the conditions are correct for COOL to succeed in today's age as people get older and retire and want something to do with their lives that are more active, involve their brains in different pursuits, because this is what brain fitness in old age is really all about. This keeps your mind active.
Has anybody done a bonsai?
No,
No,
actually, we've had
no.
nobody
That would-
I'd love to.
step
I mean,
forward. Would you like
No,
to
no,
learn
no, no,
about
no,
that?
no. I
Would you
want
like
someone
to?
who does that, because I've often said, bonsai is really cool, but it's complicated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like if someone had a bonsai idea, they could come in with, especially if they did it, it would be great. Like,
Yeah, but if you led that seminar, you would become that person who knows bonsai.
I know, but I feel like,
That would stretch your brain. You would keep you younger.
well, I think I'm still trying to defeat my original adult deficit, attention deficit thing there. That's all I need is one other thing in my life. But no, that's a cool, maybe somebody that's listening to us
Sure.
might come up and say bonsai.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so I mean,
know
I get the
bonsai.
idea that it's almost anything.
Yes.
It can be anything,
Are you
and the
doing-
thing is, if it can't stretch into a 6-week class, we started, last year, we started something called Lunch and Learn.
Okay.
And so we have, from 12 to 1, we have a classroom assigned, and anybody can come to that. That's free if you're a C.O.O.L member, or you can bring anybody that you want to. And somebody, we have the classroom for like 50 minutes, and there's a subject that is talking. You did something on what is Buddhism, George had done.
Okay.
We have a member of C.O.O.L that belongs to Engineers Without Borders and goes to Africa and helps people to establish water
that's right.
systems.
That's Peter.
Right.
Yeah.
And then not only do we have the lunch and learns, but we've also have a couple of intersessions, we call them, so that in that lull at about this time of year, we're able to offer a program like today. We're actually doing one on questionable historical bias. Was Hannah Duston a villain, or was she a heroine? Because there are differing theories on that, and it's being given by somebody from Buttonwoods at the Historical Society. And then next week we also have somebody, Martin Dagoberto from Mass Critical, Right to Know, and on GMOs and
Good.
the push that's been that's on to get products labeled, because America is one of the few countries that does not label their food as whether it has been genetically altered. So, so doing programs like that, and I was in contact with somebody the other day that has agreed to do a lunch and learn for us. That was an investigative reporter
that's good.
for the Tribune at one time. He's now working for Thorn in Life. And I thought, wow, I bet he's got a lot of knowledge. And he was one of the people that had actually done the program, the investigation around the automobile insurance fraud in Lawrence that broke a couple of years, well, it's probably been 5 years or so now. And so he's going to come and talk about that and how that got started. And
So you're actually now creating a speakers bureau.
Almost.
On that idea?
Right,
I mean, it
so that
seems-
if you couldn't commit to 6 weeks, well, we have 1 hour, we have
Yeah.
1.5 hour programs.
And now, do you think space is going to be a problem? I mean, has the school, has NECC kind of accepted you and adopted you as a,
We have the 2 to 4 hour block on weekdays, because that's a quiet time for them to have classes.
okay. That's a good point. Classes are always 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
for the most part.
So you're out of there before dark, and, nice time.
Okay,
Right.
okay. So we're getting close to end of our show, so I just would like to ask you, I mean, have we covered everything so that everybody out there will know?
Well, we've also involved some NECC teachers. For example, Mark Palermo, who teaches English as a second language, is doing one on herbs of the Merrimack Valley.
Oh, all right,
So
I heard
we-
that was a pretty popular course.
So, yeah.
Strange,
yeah,
isn't it
yeah.
funny, like, what you don't think would be popular is like
Right.
super popular?
So we try to encourage the faculty who have an interest, but they don't teach it every day, to teach it to us, to C.O.O.L, to lead a C.O.O.L seminar in it. So-
Right. Barbara Stagnevich had done literature, English literature. Lahia Dominic, who has done programs on the historical Caribbean. And I think that
She wants to
George had actually, she's going to do something. and I think that George has he's at the college, so he's convincing these people that they would really love to do this.
Right.
And
I think
really,
we have Mark Mannheim, who does art, is going to do Tai Chi for us next semester
great.
as well.
Oh, cool.
Great.
So-
But it has enhanced the program, because now you have actually college professors that are also leading programs. And they've loved it from all of the feedback that I've gotten from.
Because they have students who do homework.
Right. well, they have students that show, and they're there
Right.
because they want to
they want
be
to learn.
there.
Again,
not
joy of
because they
learning.
have to be there.
Right.
You
Now,
know, no
do you-
grades, no tests.
Do you see an effect, I mean, this is something I keep thinking of, as I see these C.O.O.L growing. Do you see that as actually having some connection to the students coming in to instill some kind of like passion in learning?
I
There's
think
got
it
to be a
does.
way to do that.
I
hasn't
think it
there?
does. I always thought that when I taught, I thought having a master learner in a classroom would help, because they would ask the right question. They would model for the students what they're doing. And I think that older students are not afraid to ask the question that everybody has on their mind, but is afraid to ask because they don't want to look bad, and model the fact that they do their homework and stuff. So I think there's a great deal to learn from both generations.
Oh, I think the
Back
mix
and
is
forth.
good, because
Yes.
every time I've taken a class over at NECC with younger students, I've always learned something. You know, especially about technology. You know, how to answer my phone and things like that. You know, I still don't know how to answer it, but anyhow. So that I think we've covered everything. So what we're going to say is that if somebody wants to do this, they can go into the NECC website,
Right?
there's a little box right up top.
NECC/COOL, right.
and it,
Or
I think
lifelong learning.
lifelong
will
learning,
lead
and
you
just
there
put cool,
also.
and it comes up and it gives you all the options.
Right.
$30, and you said the open house type of thing is on the 10th,
The
is that right?
showcase is March 10th from 2 to 4
2 to
at
4.
the Hart Lab Technology Center at the college.
And how do people find their way around the school?
When we come in the main entrance for the college, if you just come down, take a right, that the building with the curved roof is the Hart Lab Center. So just take a park in there.
Okay.
And that's a
Good.
lot of fun because all of the people that have taken classes before usually come to that, or new people trying to figure out what is this anyway. And it's really a very interactive group. The last time there was so much electricity in that room. People were just couldn't
Yeah.
wait to get the fall semester
No,
started.
it was great. I'm just so glad. Well, anyhow, guys, I know you guys are busy, and thanks for coming over from,
Thank you for having us.
and you're going to go back there and do it. And, you know, maybe later on, as we get the show going, we'll talk about doing more with C.O.O.L. and maybe go over to the school and actually bring some cameras over and video a class or something like that in action. So that's one of the things we've talked about before we did this. So
A
that's
visual is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, seeing it, right. I think it's great.
Right.
Okay, well, hey, thanks a lot, Nancy.
Oh, thank you for
George,
having
thanks
us.
for coming. Okay, thank you very much.